Good morning, everyone. Thanks very much for your attention. My name is Fiona Grant-Ledier. I am the VP of Investor Relations for eCobalt, the only near-term primary cobalt producer in the U.S. eCobalt is advancing the Idaho Cobalt project. It's an advanced stage primary cobalt project, meaning primary in that it's a very high-grade cobalt deposit, and cobalt first and foremost. It doesn't come as a byproduct to, say, copper or nickel, which affords it the option or the quality of being high-grade, and also means that the majority of our revenue will come from cobalt, not from other byproducts. We intend to produce a high-grade clean cobalt, clean meaning arsenic will be removed down to below 0.5%, which is one of the most stringent standards or requirements for importing of cobalt into other markets. This will allow us to really tap into any market in any jurisdiction, which means that we have a highly desirable product for the cobalt market at this time. Our project is fully environmentally permitted, located in a safe, mining-friendly jurisdiction, Idaho, and with our near-term production expected in 2020, this offers us the opportunity to provide a safe, secure supply of cobalt for the market in the short term. The Idaho Cobalt Project is located in northeastern Idaho near the town of Salmon. The mine and mill are fully permitted. We've spent over $135 million to date on the project over the lifetime of the project. The project has been in the same hands of the company for over 25 years, all the way from discovery through to now. So there's extensive infrastructure in place. And construction is well underway. Quite a bit of the earthworks have been completed. The concrete has been poured. Buildings are being erected. The water treatment plant, for example, is already completed. The liner is down on the tailing waste storage facility and the water treatment ponds. We are moving ahead with building a mine. We produced an updated resource model, which will be rolled into a new reserve model in our new feasibility study that demonstrated an increase in our M&I to 45 million pounds of cobalt. At a daily mining rate of 800 tons per day, we'll produce total contained cobalt of 1,500 tons per year over a 12.5-year mine life to start. Given the advanced nature of the project, our timeline to production is quite short. We will be issuing a new optimized feasibility study early this quarter, and completing all of our environmental systems by the end of the year. We need to be able to treat the water in order to be able to go underground. So the goal is to have all of those systems in place so that we can commence mine development as soon as the weather allows in the early spring. We also have been advancing discussions for project finance. We've had a considerable amount of interest given the high-grade, pure nature of our cobalt, and we've been advancing those conversations in parallel with finalizing the optimized feasibility study. So we hope to have those, the financing structure identified by the end of the year and in place by Q1 so that we can get started with mine development as soon as possible. And as I said, commercial production is expected in 2020. The new optimized feasibility study will focus on 3 key areas. The first area is expanding the high-grade resources. We conducted a small drill program at the end of last year, 5,000 feet, added just over 5 million pounds of cobalt in the M&I category, which is an increase of 13%. And I'll also bring your attention to the grade in the table, 0.59 at M&I. It's very high grade. The deposits that you see coming out of the Congo, where, for example, or other areas like Australia, where it comes as a byproduct to their copper and nickel, you're seeing deposits with cobalt at a lower grade of 0.1 or 0.2. The very nature of this deposit, located in the Idaho Cobalt Belt, is high grade and therefore highly desirable. Another area of optimization that we're looking at or have been doing is reducing dilution and risk at the mine plan. We have improved dilution by reducing stope block sizes, reduced waste by converting the mining method from long hole stoping to 100% cut and fill, and looking at haulage and ventilation alternatives. For example, in the previous feasibility study, we were using a spiraling ramp. We will now be implementing a sweeping ramp. This will also allow us to go underground and start drilling and expanding the resource once we get underground. The deposit is open in all directions. So this is really the beginning of the Idaho Cobalt project story. Our goal is to get the project into production and then continue to expand it once we're underground. And the intention is, of course, 800 tons per day to grow that as well once we've gotten into production and gotten up and running. The final area of optimization in the new feasibility study, which is the key, I would say, of this new feasibility study, is simplifying the cobalt production facility flow sheet. The cobalt production facility is where we will process our concentrate to produce the clean concentrate. The previous feasibility study was to produce a cobalt sulfate through a hydromet facility, a very complicated flow sheet with 5 different circuits producing 5 different end products, very risky, obviously much more costly. But what is actually demanding more attention in the cobalt market, if you will, is further upstream products, so a cobalt concentrate. So we decided to update our feasibility study to reflect this new product change of a clean cobalt concentrate, which will be processed through a roasting facility, a much more simplified flow sheet producing one end product, and therefore it's expected to have a positive impact on our initial capital requirements. We completed successful pilot level testing to demonstrate the viability of producing this clean cobalt concentrate, and we're currently preparing and shipping samples to potential offtake partners that we've been in discussions with for the last number of months. We've been in discussions with various parties in numerous jurisdictions, so hopefully we'll be able to get those offtake agreements in place in short order. And all of this is feeding into this new optimized feasibility study, which everybody has been waiting on, and we're really eager to get out to market so that we can really start talking about the nitty-gritty details and the dollars and cents of the project itself. And as I said earlier, it doesn't end there. The Idaho Cobalt project actually lies within the historic Idaho Cobalt Belt, which historically produced over 2 million tons of high-grade cobalt back in the 50s and 60s, but hasn't seen modern-day production, if you will, since then. We own just under 6,000 acres within this belt, and the RAM deposit, as you can see in the left-hand side of the map there, really is the deposit that we're bringing into production and only represents about 7% of our total claim blocks. We've identified historic resources at numerous other targets within our claim block, and previous drilling has intercepted numerous intercepts above cutoff grade. So we do see this as a district scale opportunity to further develop the Idaho Cobalt Belt and bring additional resources on stream. So the goal is to get the mine up and running, expand the resources from underground, increase our mining rate, and then start to further advance the other targets that we have on the project. So lots of upside potential here. Our capital structure, we have 160 million shares outstanding. Our single largest shareholder is Dundee Corp. They have 10.3%. We, at the end of Q2, had about $30 million in our treasury and no debt. And our leadership team is comprised of a great group, an exceptional group of mining professionals, and most notably and most recently, the addition of our new president and CEO, Mike Callahan, if you just want to wave. I thought I'd give him a pass on presenting today, just given the fact that he literally joined us on Monday officially. So it'd be a little bit mean to throw him in the deep end, but actually he probably could have handled it no problem. This is his area of expertise. Mike established his career with Hecla. He was with them for 20 years, where he was in charge of a number of different sizable operations with the company there, as well as with other producers and developers over the period of his course of his career. So he brings really extensive operational experience to our team at a really critical moment as we evolve from a development stage company into a producer. That's all the time for today. Please keep your eyes peeled for the new optimized feasibility study once it crosses the wire over the course of the next few weeks. And if you have any other questions, please find myself or Mike. We'd be happy to chat. Thank you.